Hi, it's Tao. I did want to do another recording because the first one, the audio and the visual was absolutely terrible, but this time I'm going to actually instead of my laptop, actually use my phone. Now, I'm here to talk about the Scorpio. The reason why I'm doing this video is I love astrology. Absolutely love it, but I hate the way that the Scorpio is painted, being a Scorpio myself. I am a Scorpio sun with Scorpio ascendant. There are certain traits, I should say Scorpio hates being misunderstood. So I'm here to give my perspective about the Scorpio as a Scorpio. And I wanted to explain certain traits where we're painted quite negatively, and just give my perspective on how I see those traits. So I hope you enjoy. Hope this doesn't confuse anyone. But the first thing I wanted to mention was is that the Scorpio is a water sign. Now, water meaning emotions. So I think this is very important for us to remember that it is a water sign when we talk about the Scorpio. So the underlying force about everything in a Scorpio is about emotions, and I think that's very important. Now, I do want to describe a Scorpio based on intensity. So how I like to personally describe it is like a pendulum that swings hard one way and then the other. It's never in between, and it's very black and white, never grey. And I think that's something that describes every perspective or every aspect of a Scorpio and every part of a Scorpio's life, where everything is one and the other, never in between. And keep this in mind when I explain about the Scorpio. Now, like, for example, the emotions of a Scorpio, where the interior is very, the sensitive being water, it's sensitive on the interior, where the outside can come across as a bit cold, analytical and logical. It's very one and the other. And this comes to, how we express ourselves as well, and it's something that I think is a little bit difficult for a Scorpio to do, to express their own emotions. If we're detached from the situation, I think that's, we're very smart when it comes to intuitive, etc., when it comes to other people's emotions and understanding it and being able to, help others. But when it comes to our own emotions, I don't think that we can express it as easily. And if we're only doing one or the other, let's just say, if you look at the brain, like the language and logics from the left-hand side of the brain, and creativity and emotions from the right-hand side. And if we're only doing one or the other, it's hard for us to, connect the two to be able to express how we really truly feel inside. I don't think any amount of words can paint the full picture of how we feel, even though we can try. And this also relates to when people we care about are going through a hard time. I think our normal process is to understand, and our lives are about understanding what is in the world. Like, we look at, we're represented by a lot of negative things, but that's where we resonate. Darkness, death, house of death, which is the 8th house. The Lord of the Underworld, God of War, Mars and Pluto, where we do resonate with the dark side of things. And death is something that we need to understand what is in the world, because this is life, right? And I think this is why Scorpio may understand a little bit more of things in general, where we do, people don't look at the obvious, because to understand the obvious, they need to look at the dark things, which is death, to understand what is in the world. And when it comes to people we care about and they're going through a hard time, we look to understand what they're going through. And if they're going through an emotional time, we instantly try to, I personally fire out questions, like, just to understand what they're going through. I'll ask, like, are they like blunt, direct, black and white questions, because that's how I logically understand, because I'm trying to understand this situation, because understanding is so important to a Scorpio. And it might come across as insensitive, inconsiderate. People might see uncaring and not compassionate, but I think I ask those things because that's the only way I can understand, because any other way, asking another way, would leave too much room for interpretation, and then it won't be quite understanding the complete picture. But I ask to understand because I care about them, and I think that's what people fail to, remember, because I guess it's hard for someone that's gone emotional, that's gone through a hard time and wants somebody consoling, and it's not very easy for me to console another person. But, I think, as I got older, I know who I can, ask questions to and who I shouldn't, or who I should be like a consoling friend. But there are times, even if your closest friends who know that you ask questions because you care, I think in those moments you can be accused for the worst things. But moving on from that, we are a fixed sign, and I guess the funny thing or the paradox is where we are also about transformation, and everything about a Scorpio is about experience and life of lessons. So someone could give me advice, I listen, I believe them, but I just need to go get my own information. And this is where I need everything I look at. I have to, do my own research, get my own data and then confirm it myself, with data. I won't just read something, I won't just, believe it. And this is about, anything. So I will, if somebody said to a Scorpio, down this road there's a cliff, and if you go down there you're going to fall off that cliff. I hear that. Not that I don't, but I will go down there and check it out, and I will probably be hanging off that cliff before I decide to go 180 and turn around and go the opposite direction, unfortunately. And this is how the pendulum swings, hard way or the other. So I will go hard one direction and then the other. So that's how I understand things, and I think that's how we understand everything in this world, or in our lives as a Scorpio. Everything's about understanding, right? And we'll go as far as we can go, because the pendulum does go hard one way and then the other. And I think this is about emotions as well, going back to our emotions, where our emotions do run deep. And let's talk about grudges. They say Scorpios hold grudges. I just think that it's because we only do one way or the other. When we make a decision, that's pretty much set. Now, I think because we, are a water sign, water signs are more intuitive in general. I'm not saying other signs aren't, but they say a water sign is emotions and it's more intuitive. We kind of understand people, and I think the tolerance level, and being, the dark side of everything, where we do accept a lot of people, we have a lot of tolerance for people in general, and someone else might have only so much tolerance, but they give second chances. Now Scorpio might not give second chances, but doesn't mean that we've given this level. We've probably given more, but they're comparing us to somebody that gives second chances. So they call Scorpio, cutthroat, or a bit brutal, or a bit mean, or whatever it is. But that's because they're comparing us to somebody who gives second chances. That's not fair, because I think we tolerate a lot, and this is the same thing with the whole crazy thing. Because we're only doing one or the other, we tolerate a lot. So we have to explode. There's a balance in things. It has to be yin and yang. It has to be one without. You can't have one without the other. So there will be times where we need to let go, because we're holding it in, because others might not get that. We're holding it in, and I guess we could manage it a little bit better, and pick and choose how we let it out. And that could be that of a younger Scorpio, but we will have to blow, and I don't think that you should compare that to somebody else that doesn't, just because they don't have to, just because they're not a Scorpio. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just, I think it's something that we do, and not that we have to deal with it. I think that we have to understand it and then accept it, and maybe manage it a little bit better, meditate or something. But there's some Scorpios that blow daily. There's some monthly or whatever. I probably blow once or twice a year, but I go absolutely nuts and psycho, and that's probably why they call us crazy. But you don't know how much we tolerate. I think people should look at that before they actually call us crazy. It's not nice. And this is the whole thing about jealousy too. I don't think I get jealous, but I don't trust people. I don't like people. And I know I guess it's the arrogant side of me, where I think people's minds are weak, where I think that people can be persuaded and manipulated quite easily if you're not me. So it's not like I don't trust someone I care about. I don't trust the people that they're with, and I know that people can persuade other people, and I don't know what their intent is, and if I haven't met them, I haven't sussed them out, I don't know what they're about. And I get a bit insecure because I don't know them. And I know people are weak. I don't want the person I care about to be persuaded and manipulated. So I don't think it's jealousy in the normal, typical sense. I think it's a more protective thing, depending on how you define the word jealousy, I suppose. And the whole manipulation thing. Manipulation. Okay. Because I understand people and I understand how they might take things, I might word things a certain way so they can understand. I think manipulation is more for personal gain. Although I can probably do it to, get my way in certain things, but I don't think my emotions allow me to do that. I think my morals and values are too strong as a water sign, and I get how it might be, and I don't think that it really allows me to do that. But I think it depends on the Scorpio and what stage they are in their lives, and if they've gone through life lessons, etc., or not. But I guess in a sense I am manipulative because I do word things a certain way for specific people, but I don't think it's because it's not for personal gain. I don't think it's for a bad intent. And going back to me not trusting people, yeah, I don't. This is probably why I do suss people out. I do question them and try to see who they are. I probably identify their weaknesses as soon as I can. I think not only because I'm a Scorpio and I automatically see dark things or negative things or weaknesses, but I think it allows me to connect with their sensitivities when I see weaknesses, because we just want to know if we can trust them, and that's because we want to protect ourselves. And I think the whole Mars and control thing and power thing, I think again, some might be on a power trip, but I think again it's essentially there to protect our sensitivity and our soft interior. But yeah, I'm just wanted to give my perspective on this, because I kind of am a bit annoyed by the whole bad ass thing that they say a Scorpio is, and I don't think it's quite explained correctly. It's left too much room for interpretation. But I think we are a water sign. Don't forget that. We're about emotions. But I just wanted to give my perspective.